Hey guys, Nathane Jackson here, your strength conditioning coach and your holistic nutritionist. And in this week's video, or this series of videos, we're going to go over the squat. Okay guys, so for our simple squat assessment test, what I'm going to have you do is, preferably if you can stand in front of a mirror, that'd be great. If not, get somebody else to help you out, or just kind of take a quick peek at how things are moving, or if your knees or ankles or hips are aligned. So what I want you to do is just take your basic generic hip width stance with your feet. You're going to slightly turn your feet out about 15, 20, 25 degrees. Okay? You're going to keep your rib cage down, chin tucked, and all I want you to do is squat down, bringing your hands forward, and then come back up. So if you can do this in front of a mirror, do this about 3, 4, 5 times. And what you're looking for, and I'm just going to come down here and kind of show you the things that I can see normally, is ankles. So the first thing I'm looking at is ankles. Hopefully you can see them here if they're caving in, or if you're on the inside of your ankles. Okay. The second thing here is when you come down, your knees cave in, which is called a valgus collapse. Third thing I'm looking for is watching my hips here. If anybody comes down and kind of shifts to one side. Okay. Obviously this is exaggerated, but I've seen things that are close to that. I'll take a rear view of that as well, just so I'm not missing anything. And then from a side view, hopefully I'm in frame here, is when you go down, looking for the hip angle that you're trying to achieve here. So if you can get your hips below parallel, achieving that like 45-degree angle, that'd be great. So again, you're dropping your hips in between your thighs or your femurs. Okay, so I'm looking at that hip angle. I'm also looking at the thoracic spine, which is the middle spine here. A lot of people who sit all day will be hunched over and won't be able to get in this position. They're unable to get that elongated alignment with their spine. And the other thing I'm looking at is head position. So a lot of people will tuck their head, or the opposite is hyperextension with the neck or the chin way up in the air. So obviously you want to try and keep double chin throughout the whole motion, and that keeps your spine aligned. Okay? So those are the things I'm looking for in that squat assessment. I want to show you a quick wall test or mini assessment that we can do. It also doubles as an exercise to try to create some more mobility in those ankles. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is bring my toes a few inches from the wall here. And all I want you to do is, while keeping that foot flat, is push that knee forward, keeping the heel on the ground, and try to get your knee right to the wall. Okay? If you can do that, maybe go back a few more inches here. So if you can get like maybe 6 inches from the wall, maybe 5 inches probably better, and you push that knee forward and actually touch the wall, you're going to have good mobility. So when you get down into that squat, you have that ankle, or that angle of your ankle in your shin there, which is great for squatting. So about 5 inches from the wall, try to accomplish that, keeping that foot flat. Your left foot or your other foot can be staggered, and you're leaning into it, pushing the knee over the toes. Okay, which brings us to a good point. Okay, so that's your mini assessment for your ankle mobility. And when we get into the next video of how to kind of increase your mobility, you're going to see that test or something similar come back up again. Now the other one I want to show you is more of a hip, looking at the hip here and seeing the range of motion. And I'm actually just going to use the bench behind me here to show you that. Okay, so this next one's more of a hip range of motion test, trying to see. A lot of people who sit all day will have tight TFL, which is the muscle area here and where the thigh meets the hip. And when you lie back on the bench here, you're going to hug one knee into your chest, and we're actually looking at the other leg and seeing where that goes. So ideally, when I lay back and I'm going to hug my left leg just so you can see where my right leg lies, your right knee should be in line with the bench, or if not a little bit lower. Most people who sit all day, their knee's actually going to be up and elevated, and their hip will be elevated in order to get to that position. So what I want you to do, you're going to bring one leg in, you're going to lay back, and see, I have no problem, and actually my foot's on the floor right now, but even if I extend my foot, I have no problem with my hip being in line with the bench. What you're going to see is a lot of people who are extremely tight, this will be up like here, and actually their hip will probably be up in the air as well, off the bench even. I've seen that many times, and that's just telling me their hips are really tight. So when you get into that, or you're trying to get into that bottom range of a deep squat, it's not really going to happen. This concludes video number 1. This is the quick squat assessment with 2 mini assessments after that. And stay tuned for mobilization, tissue manipulation, and activation. Until then, visit NathaneJackson.com. Train smart, but train with a purpose.